Welcome to Startup Spokane, where hosts Steve Traben and Megan Halsey explore the excitement and momentum growing throughout Spokane's expanding startup community. Startup Spokane is a joint effort between Greater Spokane Incorporated's Startup Spokane, our friends at Well Dressed Walrus, and Spokane Talks Online. Now, here are your hosts, Steve and Megan.
Welcome to Startup Spokane on Spokane Talks Online, your podcast home for everything startup and entrepreneurial related in the Spokane region. I'm your host, Megan Halsey. Unfortunately, my co-host Steve Traben can't be with us today, but as you know, we're Startup Spokane, a program of Greater Spokane Incorporated, and we're here to provide you with our region's story of entrepreneurship, educate you about the resources that exist in our region's ecosystem, and we want to share ways for you to plug in, connect to those resources so that if you're launching or growing a business, you have what you need to be successful. At Startup Spokane, we're building an ecosystem that's attractive not only to our native entrepreneurs, but to people who are looking for the place to launch their next business. And today I'm really excited that I am joined by Elizabeth Scallon, the Associate Director of University of Washington's CoMotion Labs, and Brady Ryan, who is our local program manager for CoMotion Labs Spokane. And so welcome to both of you. And
thank you for having us.
Yeah, could you guys take a couple of minutes and please introduce each of yourselves?
Yeah, so I'm Elizabeth Scallon, and I'm the Associate Director of CoMotion Labs.
I'm Brady Ryan, Manager of CoMotion Labs at Spokane.
So tell me a little bit about what that means. You guys are killing me. So tell me a little bit about what you do. What is CoMotion Labs?
So CoMotion Labs is a member-supported, multi-industry, multiple location incubator for startups in the state of Washington. We have 3 physical locations in the Seattle area, and then we do have our location here with Brady. We focus in on kind of 4 main areas. We have education and training. We have networks, services, and then, like I said, we have 3 physical spaces where startups can work out of day in and day out, and we're helping over 100 startups part of our program.
Oh, that's really exciting. So are there specific areas in the startup realm that you tend to focus on, technologies or research areas that you focus on?
Yeah, mostly all high tech. So we do engineering, biotech, medical device, software, AI, blockchain, all the emerging tech, augmented reality, virtual reality. So it's a nice array of industries, but all, again, the characteristics are high growth and high tech.
Yep.
Okay, great. So how do you support those companies? What is it that you guys do that helps incubate those companies? Because you use the word incubator. So let's talk about what that means for our people who maybe don't know.
Yeah, so, startups have a lot of different places that they can gain resources from. An incubator provides resources that, again, go beyond space. So you can think of a co-working space as a place that a startup can work in and day out of. But for us, we're really looking about how do we wrap around our services around that startup to really help them propel on their journey. To go from that, beginning stage to that scale-up stage, there's a lot of resources that they need during that path. And we're here to provide those resources and connections to those resources on that journey to scale up. So Brady, feel free to jump in.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these services can include events and training.
Mm-hmm.
We can do, as well as a network of mentors and subject matter experts to help them. So if they're struggling with a business issue or looking for guidance or help, we can also provide that for them as well through our mentor database. We provide access to investors and connections in with capital. So if they're looking for funding, we can make some introductions for them on that. We provide also discounts and services for the startups. So maybe they need cloud credits for their technology. We can help them through that process as well.
That's excellent. Do you have something you want to add, Brady?
Yeah, I mean, a big difference between what we're doing in Seattle and what we're doing out here in Spokane is Seattle has the physical co-working spaces. So we have industry-specific co-working spaces for virtual reality, generally software, and then biotech and engineering. Here in Spokane, we don't have co-working space. You do a great job of providing co-working space. Fellow does a great job. There's plenty of places that folks can go work with their companies. So we're just trying to bring the resources and the programming. So we've got educational programs, that sort of stuff, the mentorship aspect.
So to take advantage of some of those programs, how does somebody learn about, or how do they get involved if they want to learn more about how to take advantage of the resources at CoMotion? Do you have to be a student, or?
No, and that's one of the big misperceptions, right? Is that you have to be, a student or a faculty member at UW, and that's not true. We're open to everyone in our region. We are here for the innovators, regardless of where you're located out of, and regardless of what institute you want to learn from, right? So we are definitely open to everyone, and so the best way to connect in is online through our website. CoMotion.uw.edu, as well as coming to any of our events. I know we advertise our events on your program, so definitely check out the community calendar and come to our events at the Spokane UW Visitor Center.
Yeah, okay, that's a great place to get started. So let's talk a little bit about when you get involved with a startup, what role do you take? How do you guys get your funding, and how are you affiliated with those startups?
Well, so we're not funded by those startups. So we don't take any equity. We don't take any intellectual property in any of the companies that we work with. You can ask the folks we're working with. We haven't tried to do that, and we will not try to do that. So we have a bunch of resources that we just make available to the folks that we work with. And one of the resources that we have is a lot of programming. So folks that are working with us, or folks that aren't working with us yet, like Elizabeth said, can stop by whenever we have our events. Friday Fundamentals, visit us tomorrow. We have a mentor network that folks can sign up on once they kind of join CoMotion Labs. They sign up on the mentor network. They get access to the mentors. We will facilitate introductions to investors we know. We'll facilitate introductions to other startups that are working in somewhat similar spaces. Hey, you should know so-and-so in Sammamish. He's working on a similar app. So we're always happy to kind of break out our Rolodex and help folks with connections.
So what does it mean to join CoMotion? When an entrepreneur comes to you, what if I had an idea and I was, Brady, help me out.
Sure.
How do I join?
Sure. So we have a DocuSign that you sign up on. It's that easy. Right now,
I don't have to write you a check.
You don't have to write me a check. So right now, membership's totally free. And so in the summer, we're going to turn on a really low-priced membership fee, just so that folks, so frankly, I can show my boss that people like me and that she should keep me here. But so it's a DocuSign, and you sign up for membership, and it's, like I said, now it's free. And then you're in the family, and you get access to all of our events, all of our mentor database, all of our connections, and all that.
That's amazing. So let's talk a little bit about what kind of breadth those mentors bring. You guys do have a really big mentor database, so let's talk about what kind of skills and services you can bring to the table.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything that a startup would be struggling with or would need help, guidance on. So we have technical experts. We have experts that understand finance. So how do you do your cap table? How do you project out your revenue? What are those financial statements that an investor will be looking for? We also have business experts that can help you with your pitch deck and help you with the strategy, even understanding the different groups, different skill sets that you'll need as you're on your growth journey. So really, and some are all about product design and development, go-to-market strategy, so a lot of marketing folks as well. So again, we try to have some just generalists in startups, and then we do have some subject matter experts of it, be in biotech or augmented reality or in AI. We also have some of those experts as well.
Fantastic. So if I were to be looking for a mentor, let's say specifically to help develop some cap tables, what could I expect from that individual? How would we work together?
So that's really on a discernment basis with that mentor. What makes sense for both of you? How many hours per week? And what's the real needs? Some of the projects will not have a big time commitment. Some of those answers can be solved within a couple hour discussion. So again, depending on what that problem looks like that you're trying to help navigate through, that mentor can work with you on that. So again, it's open so that it can really fit the need of the startup, rather than being very formulaic, that then would not allow for that need to be met.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think one of the things that's great about the way the mentor network is set up is that we really encourage people to have those conversations up front, right? So, hey, I need help doing this cap table. I think it's a really quick 2-hour project. I just need someone to bounce ideas off. Great. Or, hey, I'm getting ready to raise my Series A. I need a bunch of help over the next 2 months, and this is what I expect. And then the mentors can say, yeah, okay, sure. Or they can say, no, that's a little bit too much, and kind of set expectations so that mentors are never stepping on entrepreneurs' toes, vice versa, managing expectations up front. And I think it's had really good outcomes for almost everybody that's used the network.
Absolutely. And I think, again, too, we look at it where we're not matchmaking for the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur gets to identify the mentors, and we do actually support entrepreneurs finding multiple mentors. You need to have a lot of different voices to gain insight from. So we don't believe in a one-to-one match. We believe in actually having a mentor be able to work with multiple, an entrepreneur working with multiple mentors.
Oh, I think that's always a good plan. So at what point does a company graduate from CoMotion? When do you stop aiding them?
I mean, I think it's one of those moments that it just becomes obvious that they are scaling up, and they actually have a board of directors. They have established advisors, established team for the startup, and that they are just on their way to the startup phase or scale-up phase, where again they're just at a more sophisticated level, and that's when they really are looking sort of to graduate from our program. But what we find back is that they usually do just not as frequently. Touch base, connect in,
That's awesome.
And come back if they do need specific help in an area.
Yeah.
And that's also great, because if they're feeding back in after they've kind of graduated after that initial stage, I think that shows a good ecosystem, right? I mean, anytime you have a functioning ecosystem, you have the very early stage companies all the way up with investors and advisors and some more successful kind of scaling up companies. So,
I mean, one of our companies, Turi, that graduated from our program, they were looking to connect back in on campus and actually looking to hire interns and grad students. So they wanted to touch back in so that they could connect in with our network and also do all their interviews in our location. So again, we find that that great community will always have that community there. They just won't be actively participating in our programming, but our doors are always open. And again, we just do see that coming back to CoMotion Labs as a home base for our startups.
And that sounds like a great ecosystem development strategy. And we're having a great conversation with Elizabeth and Brady, but we need to take a short break. So we'll be back in just a few minutes with Startup Spokane on Spokane Talks Online.
Hi everyone, I'm weather forecaster and assignment anchor at Spokane Talks Online, Colin Pittman, and I am honored to be the host of the new program, Spokane's Youth Spotlight, brought to you by Spokane Talks Online and the Spokesman Review, where we are interviewing and getting to know outstanding youth in our community each month. If you'd like to nominate someone in our community that you think should be recognized, that is doing something great here in the region or has an amazing story, visit SpokaneTalksOnline.com or Spokesman.com and look under Youth Spotlight to nominate. And be sure to tune in each month as we find the best in the Inland Northwest.
Hi, I'm Larry Myers, owner of River Ridge Hardware. Welcome to our garden center here on the corner of Garland and Driscoll. We have fresh plants that come in weekly from all of our local growers. We can make your garden look like our garden. Here at River Ridge, we've been here 30 years. We're your full-service neighborhood hardware store. This is our sprinkler aisle, where my knowledgeable staff will help you put together your sprinkler system so it will make your yard lush green for the spring and summer. This is River Ridge Hardware's rental center, where we provide a multitude of equipment for rent for the do-it-yourselfer. Next time you're working on your home or yard this spring and summer, stop by, say hi, and we'll help you get the project done.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
Weekends are made for painting. Let the experts at Rada Paint take care of you.
Hi. This looks amazing.
Rada Paint, over 80 years of quality, tradition, and trust. Find it in every can.
Welcome back to Startup Spokane on Spokane Talks Online, where we're talking to Brady Ryan and Elizabeth Scallon with CoMotion Labs. And so one of the things, we've been spending a lot of time today talking about all of the great things that CoMotion is doing, but we've really spent a lot of time talking about what they're doing in Seattle. And so now it's time to bring it home and talk about what we're doing here. So Brady, do you want to talk a little bit about what you guys have done?
Sure. So in Seattle, we have a lot of these resources in Seattle, but my job here is to make them available to everybody throughout the rest of the state. So for instance, we have a ongoing series called Friday Fundamentals for Startups, and that's happening in Seattle, but we live stream it across the state. So here in Spokane, we have a viewing party every Friday, and we order pizza usually, sometimes sandwiches, and we get a bunch of people together, we network, and we go over something that's relevant to startups. So for instance, we have one of the mentors in our database, actually, by the name of Eric, is a PR consultant, and so he did a Friday Fundamental about PR for startups. The folks there really liked it. They got good value out of it. So we actually we flew him out here to do a boot camp. So we have a 2-hour boot camp series where we spend time deep diving into some topic that's relevant for startups, and hopefully people walk away with real skills out of that.
And we had rave reviews I talked to a number of participants
Oh,
in
that's
that,
great.
and they just thought that he was amazing and a great resource. So yeah, I know that those have been a real great addition to the ecosystem.
Perfect.
So what other kinds of events are you guys involved in, or do you see on the horizon?
Sure. So Friday Fundamentals, anytime we have those going on in Seattle, we'll have them out here live streamed.
And how do I find out about those?
Oh, that is such a great question. So
I think I always do this before, right?
you go to the best front door for startups in Spokane, which is the Startup Spokane website. They're on they're on the calendar there. I'm sure everybody listening and watching knows about Startup Spokane. So we're all over those calendars. You can shoot me an email, Brady or bsryan@uw.edu, and I'll add you to my calendar or my mailing list. But we do the fundamentals. We do the boot camp series. So the 2 boot camps we have coming up are how to build an app. We're working with a local app developer here who's going to teach us how to how to get an app built, and then basics of coding. So anybody out there that wants to learn, hey, I've got an idea for an app, or hey, I really need to know the basics of how to code in whatever language, we'll teach you how to do that.
So do you have somebody coming over for that one, or are you?
No, he's a local guy.
Oh, you're
yeah. So I'm meeting with him next week to put a date on the thing.
Yeah, would love to. Let's give them a little publicity if we can, just because those are part of our local ecosystem as well.
Yeah, great. Then we also have the Founders Pitch Founder Series. So a lot of startups, they know they need to get their pitch dialed before they go in front of an investor, but it's really hard to do that. You can invite a couple of your friends over and pitch to them, but if they're not entrepreneurs, it's not going to mean much. So we just get a bunch of entrepreneurs, founders, CEOs together, and people can practice either their investor's pitch or their customer pitch. That one's Thursday the 17th coming up.
Great.
And we also just did a big event a couple of weeks ago, an innovation pop-up event. This was at Gonzaga University. We had about 100 people there, everyone from high school students to serial entrepreneurs and everything in between. We did conversations about 3D printing, kind of technical skills, one around design thinking, one around Startups 101, and then gave folks an opportunity to kind of get their hands dirty, print, play with VR, all that really fun
Fantastic.
stuff. So
Yeah, and that was a great event. I actually got to participate in that a little bit too, and so it was really great to see that not only did we have great student turnout with students from across the region, but also there were entrepreneurs up from the Tri-Cities and from areas outside our region.
And Montana too.
And Montana.
Yeah,
That's right.
I mean, and that's what was really fun about that event is really watching, because afterwards we sent out a survey to see, what people thought of the event, and we actually asked them, how comfortable were you with innovation before the event, and how comfortable were you with innovation after the event? And we actually moved people to become more comfortable with innovation because of the event. And I thought that was really exciting. So, of course, your serial entrepreneurs just live and breathe in innovation every day, but sometimes it's not as comfortable for everyone else. But since CoMotion is that innovation hub of the University of Washington, where we are here to expand the societal and economic impact for our entire region, we get to play that fun role of where we get to inspire the community to participate in innovation. You don't have to just have a startup to participate. You can come to our events and just learn and be a part of it and really create that innovation mindset for our region. And again, the Innovation Pop-Up Shop is one event series where we try to do that. And again, at every innovation comfort level, can come in and get some sort of tangible knowledge, as well as some hands-on experiences and some networking opportunities as well.
Yeah, I thought that worked really well. And the other nice thing about those kinds of events is it also encourages innovation for people who aren't traditional entrepreneurs, for intrapreneurs, the people who are driving change and new ideation and revolutionizing the companies that they work for.
Absolutely, and that's again where we're looking at that innovation mindset and providing training and innovation training, not just for the innovation community, the entrepreneurship community in Spokane or just in Seattle. It's really statewide what we're looking for in those connection points. And I think that's what, again, CoMotion is that sort of innovation engine for our state. And so really fun to participate with the ecosystem players and into providing that innovation mindset for our community.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see that. And so I also liked hearing that you said you basically consider the entire state a fair game.
Yeah, I mean, again, innovation and innovators is sort of in everyone, right? And so, again, it's just unlocking that that aspect of people. At 4 years old, they say is the peak of curiosity in people, of asking all the questions, right? So how do we tap into that, right? Why, right? So how can we take that questioning mindset and kind of infuse it and help just inspire, right, people to embark back into that? We have, there's a lot of challenges ahead of us, with technology's velocity, globalization. So again, how can we just help play that part of that community resource for people to tap into, to again just engage with the ecosystem? And again, that's everywhere, right? Everyone is affected and impacted, and again, we're just that resource for Washington State.
And you said, I mean, it's interesting that you said it's interesting that we think that we are the economic engine for the whole state, not specific. I mean, we don't see the Cascades as any sort of a barrier. I mean, we think that there are smart people and resources in north, south, central, east, every part of Washington, and we want to be a conduit to get those resources and ideas and people talking to each other. And it's not always easy. I mean, even in Seattle, when I was working in Seattle, there would be little islands of resources that people didn't know about, and trying to connect those is always a important job, and hopefully we can help do that across the state.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
And amplify, what our region is doing globally, right? And so it's not just for our areas, but really, we can leverage this internationally as well and amplify it, so it can have a better impact too.
So just to reiterate, anybody who has a startup, a business, an idea, who wants some guidance, some help, some resources, can come to you, Brady.
Yes.
And you will do whatever it is that you can to help push them forward.
Absolutely.
Awesome. I just wanted to make sure that we said that clearly for everyone. And that's really exciting. And I think that's one of the great things about having an ecosystem where we have so many players so fully engaged. And I'm going to give you just a couple minutes to remind people how they can find you and how to get in touch with you, because then we're going to have to wrap up for the day.
Awesome. So definitely check out our website at CoMotion, CoMotion.uw.edu.
Yes, or email me, bsryan@uw.edu, and I am going to just spam you mercilessly with all of our events. It's not that bad, actually, I promise.
And then, of course, check out Startup Spokane and for our events and what's happening around our region here.
Yes, and of course, all of those events do show up on our calendar, and we always, if you can't figure out how to get hold of Brady or Elizabeth, you can always reach out to us, and we will make sure that we redirect you and get you in touch. Unfortunately, we are all out of time today, but thanks so much for joining us at Startup Spokane on Spokane Talks Online. We look forward to continuing to share with you the story of entrepreneurship in the Inland Northwest, and hope that you'll join us for future broad and podcasts where we'll continue to bring you profiles of successful entrepreneurs, information about helpful resources, and so much more. Talk to you next time at Spokane Talks Online.
Thank you.
Startup Spokane is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksOnline.com, which is a joint effort between GSI's Startup Spokane, Well Dressed Walrus, and Spokane Talks Online. Ask a question, recommend a guest, and hear this program again online anytime at SpokaneTalksOnline.com. We wish you a great and profitable day.